Alright guys, subscribe back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to Valorant News. Champions begins once again today. 4 teams remain by today. Only 3 teams will be in the tournament and 1 team will be confirmed through all the way to the grand finals. OpTic of course are getting in action, but Zombs believes after some talking points as to whether he's actually going to be competing next season, what roster will he be on if any. He reckons that you could replace Marved for himself and OpTic and nothing would change within that team. Very much enjoyed to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you are new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that one. Lots to dive into, of course. Firstly, some stuff on the Rostermania side, because at some organizations we don't really know what they're planning to do next year. Bleed esports, for example, have been trialing a few players. Apparently Vietnamese star Crazy Guys coming in, their analyst Ominous and their academy star Juicy have also been spotted in trials. So Bleed, one of these organizations we don't know. We feel like they've got a lot of money, so maybe they get into the partnership side next season. Maybe they don't, who knows. Some orgs will, some orgs won't, but of course, with the kind of ascension system as it is currently being, well, portrayed, 1 team each year from each region will qualify for the partnership league for 2 years in a row next time around. So, like, honestly, I think it does make sense for a lot of these guys to at least stay. We see Bleed potentially building a roster. We see Movistar Riders as well, definitely not expected as an organization to get through into the European or the EMEA league, but they have also built their roster kind of to go through the VRL. So many teams doing a similar thing right now. And pretty much as soon as Champions ends, all this drama will go down in the kind of regular, well, for the actual pro teams as well, when Riot decides and makes their call as to which teams are getting into partnership. We can make a good guess right now, but it is far from a guarantee. Sentinels, of course, we believe will be there. They are technically at Champions one way or another. Of course, the players aren't at Champions, but they do now have Tarek in the venue. Not exactly sure what is going to be going on here with Tarek, actually, because I know they talked about him doing a watch party in person or like from the main stage or on stream or something. I'm not exactly sure what the plan is there, but I guess they've got something in the works because Tarek is now in Istanbul. Now, of course, well, also on Sentinels is none other than Zombs, and Zombs has, of course, been making quite the statements the last couple of days. We saw the drama with Zombs in Brazil quite a while ago, and now, of course, well, we've got the kickoff event. Effectively, as we talked about yesterday, there is the kickoff event in March, well, February, March next season. That's the start of the year. Then there's like a regular international season split. Then there's Masters 1, pretty much the only Masters event of the season, but, you know, you could argue the kickoff is kind of Masters 1, and then the actual Masters is Masters 2, wherever these events are held, and then, of course, Champions at the end of the season as well. So that is effectively the plan for next year's play, but we don't know where Zombs is going to be, because Zombs, I'm sure, wants to still be a part of Sentinels, but if he doesn't get on their starting roster, as of course he hasn't been for a while, and we know the ShahZaM Zombs drama, like whether they keep ShahZaM, but they're not going to bring ShahZaM and Zombs back into the same team. Whether ShahZaM stays or whether Zombs comes back, who really knows what their plan is next year. And I somewhat doubt that Zombs would like leave Sentinels to go and play for another team even to compete, but he might decide to, because, you know, maybe he's made his money and he's thinking, you know what, maybe I'll want to still compete on another roster if someone wants to give me a chance. But of course, look, whether he actually gets to go to Sao Paulo, Brazil for the kickoff next season, that's a big question mark. If he does, things I'm sure could get rather entertaining. But yeah, big questions as to what Sentinels are going to do next year, but also the OpTic side, because OpTic have done incredibly well so far this tournament. If they win today, they'll be in the grand finals again, and they will be favourites to beat Loud, because they generally do the last several times that they have played them. They're playing Loud absolutely again, and Loud are probably shook because they always play OpTic and they generally always seem to lose. You know, Masters 1, for example, in Reykjavik, it was a 3-0 in OpTic's favour over Loud in the grand finals of that tourney, and they already beat them early on this tournament as well in the group stages. So it would be kind of incredible if we get Loud versus OpTic 3 times this tournament, which is possible the way the bracket is currently playing out if it was to be a rematch, let's say, in the grand finals. And it would make a lot of sense if Loud was to get into the partnership league for the Americas and also that OpTic were to get through, but it's still not a guarantee that OpTic will get through. And there also are questions about Marved and the OpTic situation. Will OpTic actually get a spot in franchising? Even if they do, can Marved play? Will these kind of like match fixing allegations from the past come back to bite him, right? There's all these questions that have been flying around the last several weeks. So there might still be a world, even if OpTic win champions here, which they very well could do, that they still make a change going into next season, either are forced to, or OpTic, for example, don't make it through to partnership and therefore they have to go elsewhere, but that other organization has different ideas what they want to do. Who knows? I think they would want to stay together. Whether they can, that's a question. Now, of course, Zombs going into that team instead of Marved would be, well, it seems pretty much impossible that that's ever going to happen, but it would be pretty funny if Zombs and FNS were in the same roster going to the Sao Paulo event next season, because as Bodok says, the security is apparently going to be much higher in, well, Sao Paulo, Brazil than it was in Istanbul and Copenhagen. Wonder why, because, I mean, yeah, FNS and Zombs could be in some danger. But yeah, Zombs was on stream kind of discussing some of the matches that were going on and saying that if you put him into that team instead of Marved, like, and have him play the same role, then he would be equally as good and the team would be equally as good. That seems a rather hot take, let's say, from my perspective, and maybe he doesn't fully believe it, because of course Marved has great experience with that team and also is pretty much one of the best players in the entire world at that particular role. But Zombs reckons, look, with a team that's actually winning and got good culture and chemistry and stuff, Zombs can be, well, pretty much equally as good.
Marved, what about him? You realize if you put me on that team in Marv's place, like, nothing changes about that team? Obviously, if you're put in the position where you're on the best team in the game, like, you're gonna succeed. You could replace Marved with, like, any good controller and, like, it's not gonna change OpTic very much.
Yeah, let's buy for next.
So what do you guys think about this, right? I can't imagine this is a realistic possibility that, you know, Zombs can actually match Marv's performances, especially because, like, look, Marv's a better player, I think, anyway, added into the fact that the team's experience with him and stuff. I can't really imagine this is the case. But, you know, still, who knows? Zombs, maybe he's just trying to big himself up to a certain extent because next season he wants a spot. And he doesn't know if he's going to get a spot on Sentinels. He may or may not get a spot elsewhere. And it seems unlikely that OpTic would bring him in unless they absolutely had to, right? So we don't know what the OpTic situation is. As I've said, given their performance so far, I'm almost certain they will want to stay together as a 5 plus the coaching staff. And we even saw interest a little bit ago from TSM. Like, TSM have potentially talked about the possibility of just signing the entire OpTic team because, well, if OpTic don't get through, and they're confident that they will. So we shall see. But franchising does always throw up surprises. Every esport where franchising arrives, things change you don't expect to change. Like in Call of Duty, the World Championship winners one season had to completely blow up their roster going into next year because the team that kind of was representing the organization didn't get into franchising effectively, and therefore the team blew up and went their separate ways. Like, it's not to say it's guaranteed to happen in Valorant, but crazy things happen when franchising comes around. Probably not so crazy to put Zombs on OpTic though. Few things to mention then as we dive into champions today. Firstly, pistol round, well, kills per pistol round I thought was pretty insane. A few of these guys are already out of the tournament now, but Artist, for example, here, Crashies, Buzz, a lot of these guys are still here. Like, crazy that Artist and Crashies get over 1 kill per pistol round on average, and certainly Crashies in the air are a big part of that because OpTic have over 60% win rate in their pistol rounds, which is quite something. FPX down are pretty much about even, so I suppose it makes sense. But yeah, 4 great teams to round out the tournament. And just to say this as well, because so far, Ye has pretty much the highest rating, at least in terms of impact rating, of any LAN so far in history. Now, I don't expect this to maintain itself just because, I mean, look, he's going to play better teams from now to the end of the tourney in general. Like, surely there's no way that he can retain what is a 1.74 impact rating. Not quite like a pure rating number. Like, this might be a little bit skewed, right? But I know a lot of people say that TenZ's Reykjavik 2021 performance is pretty much untouchable, right? That was like the best jet you're ever going to see, like the best performance you're ever going to see from an individual player. Ye has kind of replicated that to a certain extent in the last several tournaments, right? It's pretty absurd, Ye's consistency here over the last few tournaments. And so far, he has a 1.74 rating in Istanbul. His KD is insane. Like, I mean, yeah, he already eclipsed TenZ apparently in Berlin 2021 and is about to do it again. So, like, I kind of doubt that he's going to retain these numbers based on playing loud and playing probably another great team in the grand finals, but I guess you can't rule it out. Ye is, I think he's clearly the best player in the game right now, especially in the chamber meta we presently have. At least when it does come down to impact, of course. So this is the bracket as it stands. Many teams are now gone. The upper final looks like this. The lower final looks like this. So a couple of matches today, of course. Both of these games actually only best of 3s. I'm guessing the lower final of the grand final is going to be best of 5s. But already in this tournament, OpTic beat Loud. I think you've got to take OpTic as marginal favourites. It will be a close series. It will be a tight series. It always is. Loud have played great, so have OpTic. But, you know, OpTic 2-1 I think is probably the safe pick here. Then FPX DRX. This is the most interesting series from my perspective because I don't know how to call this one. Both these teams are incredibly good, but DRX broke the curse, right? They broke the 5th, 6th curse by taking down Fnatic, and a DRX with no curse on them might be a scary force, right? I might be tempted to say DRX win this one because FPX have impressed me, but maybe not incredibly so. Hiko and DRX, maybe once they've got over that curse, are now going to be absolutely god mode, right? And they've, well, playing with, not exactly playing with no pressure, but like they're not playing with the 5th, 6th curse in the back of their mind anymore. So maybe that'll free them up to some degree. FBX's Pearl hasn't been great. We might see it here as well. So I think I'm going to take OpTic and DRX today, but, you know, more than likely I'm going to go 0 and 2 as per usual. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit on the like button, tell us the YouTube gods, this is a good video, others like you should see it as well, and help grow the competitive Valorant community. Thank you for watching as always, take care, and I'll see you next time.